Dr. Woody, can you see the screen? It's
Yes,
up
I
now.
can. Thank you. Okay, so Ming, where would you like to begin on lesson 6?
Can you zoom in a little bit? Meng is saying. I think Yami was going to say something, or was it Jasmine? Jasmine, go ahead. Okay, just looking for the interpreter. All right. So our group discussed lesson 6 earlier. We had a meeting yesterday actually, and we did a few revisions. We just wanted you, Dr. Woody, to take a quick look and give us some feedback if there is any, if that's
Okay.
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 So we'll just go down to this part. So husband,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and wife.
Right.
Go
What about
down.
spouse? What about spouse? I thought we agreed not to include spouse.
We changed it actually to Mary.
Yes, that's correct. But in the text I'm looking at, it has spouse still. And marry is a verb.
Okay.
No, don't put married there because it's a verb. Has to be put in a different place.
Okay, we'll just get Shaq to do that right now.
Okay.
Or just add a note.
Okay.
Okay. One moment here. All right, this is Jasmine speaking. So we
Mm-hmm.
have child, children, and family.
Yes, okay.
So we'll just go down. Go down, Shaq. Here we have person and baby.
Okay.
There
Okay.
is Mary.
Right. So you need just to remove, go back to spouse and just remove that sign and move everything over.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay.
So we have Mary. We'll remove spouse. We'll edit the format. Got it, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So we have born or
Pregnant.
to give birth,
Right.
pregnant,
Okay.
none,
Okay.
and this is our example number one.
Okay.
I'm already married.
Yes. Okay. Good.
This is my wife.
Yes. Okay.
The two of us are married.
Yes. Okay. Good.
My wife is
Right.
pregnant.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
She gave birth to a baby.
Yes.
Okay, we'll just go down. We have two children.
Okay.
How many members does your family have?
Right.
Even the English translation is fine, sir. This is Shaq speaking.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed earlier, this was yesterday, perhaps it was Friday, but anyway, we were discussing about how many members in the family. And there was kind of a disagreement on how to do it. There was one way, and then there was, way A, way B. Because we're wanting to give the perspective of an outsider looking in. So in a family, it composes of a father, mother, and children. But what if their answer includes other members? We mentioned the nuclear family, but there might be other
Okay.
people that they consider as members of family.
Okay. Um, that's fine. Actually, let's go back up to, I think, example 5. Yeah. Okay. I think for the English translation, instead of using the parenthesis, um, I think it's better now that I look at it to say she had and then slash gave birth to a baby. And then gave birth to, bring that over to the slash, no space. No, can't say had, have. Because it's in the past. If you have just a sign have, that means it's already happened.
Excuse me, sir. What about the example about being married already? We also
That's
had a bracket as well.
no, that's okay because that's in parenthesis. But here it's like two versions of the same thing. She had a baby or she gave birth to a baby. Yes. Okay, is that clear? I'm not sure I explained it clearly.
Thumbs up.
Okay. All right, let's go back down to 7 or 8. Yeah, okay, go back up to number 6. So here, the children have already been born. So if you say the two of us or she, baby have, that means something different, right?
This is Shaq with his hand up.
Yes, okay,
Oh, so Jasmine first.
okay.
This is Jasmine. We were thinking of having children as in this sign,
Hmm.
like
That's
son
fine.
daughter. Maybe that would be better.
Mm,
So two of us, son daughter, have two, but it is ambiguous, so it doesn't show the gender. We just say,
yeah, that's fine.
okay.
That's fine. But then at what point do you introduce this sign?
Sorry, this is Meng. Uh, so take away have, and just two of us, and then have and son daughter could be put into one. Have with the NMS. So the two of us have NMS two.
Okay. But this sign for son, daughter, where do you introduce that sign?
We'll add that. We'll add that then, sir.
Yeah, but actually
Son.
go down to the second vocabulary section. You may already have that. Okay. So yeah, add the um, add that sign at the top. Use use that where you had spouse before, or maybe sorry, go back up to the top. So father, mother, and then um, so father, mother, and then um, this one, which you can say um, if you translate it child, then you need to say child one and child two. Or if you translate it son slash daughter, that may be a better translation. Or maybe better to say son slash daughter. Maybe you want to finger spell that. Maybe the interpreter wants to finger spell.
Okay, that's possible. Yami saying. So so the son and daughter could be. Is it still separated or we put it together in this sign? Shaq is asking.
Together underneath the sign, son slash daughter. And then in part two, you have a separate sign for son and a separate sign for daughter.
Okay, that's clear.
Okay.
So we'll go back up.
We can add something in the notes to explain that so, you know, for example, if you're saying, I saw two children, or I saw a child. Okay. You wouldn't want to sign.
Yes, in the sentence, child or children rather.
Yeah.
Because depending on the context, child, children can be
Yeah.
interchangeable,
Yeah.
and so it depends on what the person is asking, right? If you have two children, or if you see children. So yeah, we'll put that in the note.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's better to use the translation son slash daughter. So people won't think that those two signs mean the same thing.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right, good. And also, are you going to put the manual part of the sign for have or only the non-manual part?
Maybe we'll just put an A and B. Shaq is saying.
Okay. Okay.
I just texted Ember. She thought it was 2 o'clock. Now she's gonna log on.
Okay, that's fine.
Here, sir, number 7.
Okay.
How many members does your family have?
Okay. Okay.
So my family has 4 members.
Okay. So are you going to put the non-manual have or for either of those sentences or not? For my
No,
family,
we'll put the non-manual of have. We'll put AB.
no, I'm talking about number 8 now. And number 7.
No, we're just going to keep it like that without the
Okay.
NMS.
Okay.
Yeah, because Yami's saying it's not necessary in this case.
Okay, so for number 9, do you want to go back and use uh, the sign?
Sorry, what sign, sir?
The one, not this sign for child, but son, daughter, or you want to use children here?
Son, daughter. We'll put son,
Okay,
daughter.
okay. Okay, can you go back up to number 9? Okay, let me look for a second. So any non-manual with have in this or not?
No.
Okay. Okay. I may have some comments about the structure later, but when you make all the corrections and send it to me, then I'll look at that and make any final corrections. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Okay, we're just checking to see if technical issues here. Shaq is saying he's going to change his data plan. One moment. His camera's freezing. One moment, Shaq is saying. I'm just changing my Wi-Fi connection.
Okay. Okay. Are we all set to go?
Ray saying, yes, sir. We're already here.
Okay. Chuck, do you want to put number 6 up, lesson 6?
All right. This is Jasmine.
Okay.
Boy, girl, how many? So, how many boys and how many girls?
Okay. Could I go back up to number 9? I'll go back up to number 8. Okay. I think for number 10, we need to change the grammar. Okay, so boys and girls should be the subject, and how many should be the object? Okay, let's go back up again to number 8. Go back up to number 8. Okay. Okay, let's start again at number 1. Okay. All right, go to number 2. Okay. Okay. Number 4. Okay, number 5. Okay, number 6. Okay. So here in number 6, we have subject you, and then predicate. Okay. Hmm. Okay, I think after relooking at this, then we should change number 6. And the subject should be you and children together. And then how many is the predicate? Yes, and then draw a line between children and how many? Okay, good. Now, underneath that sentence, it says predicate have is deleted. Just erase that line. Yes. Yes, okay. All right, let's go down to number 7. Okay, number 8. Okay, so for this sentence, change object to predicate. Okay, and then underneath the sentence, delete predicate have is deleted. Okay, good. Now go down to number 9. And then change object to predicate. Okay. And then delete, yes, good. Okay, number 10. Okay, so then it should be a line in between girl and how many, and then object should be changed to predicate. And question mark. Okay, and then delete the line between boys and girls. Yes, and then delete underneath the sentence subject you and predicate have are deleted. Okay. Now, I think this has made everything similar. Do you understand why I suggested making those changes?
Peebs is shaking his head.
Who is?
Peebs is shaking his head no.
Okay. There is no have in those sentences. So it's not really correct to say have has been deleted. So the second part of the sentence can't be an object. It has to be a predicate. Does that make it more clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's really different from English. So in English, we would have a have there, and it would be an
Peebs is a little
object.
bit Peebs is a little bit unsure.
Still unsure or not sure? Or sure now?
Not sure. Peebs is unsure.
Okay, so how would you say how many is an object? How can we justify that?
Mm,
So to have an object, you have to have a verb. So if we have a verb, what is the verb? Before we said have was a verb. But it doesn't seem like you can use have with that sentence. So before I was analyzing this sentence is, you have girls, boys, girls, how many? Okay, and in that case, um, boys and girls would be an object.
Shaq has his hand up.
Who?
Shaq.
Yes, okay.
With the sentence having have, when we indicate how many, we don't have that verb, right? But in the original question about having family members, wouldn't the have still be present?
Well, but you don't use it. You told me you don't use it, but you do use it when you say, you sticks, how many? You can use have in that case. But you can't use have, at least that's what I understood from what you said. You can't use have in the sentence. Is that
So,
correct?
so there's no have.
Right? So there's never a have.
Okay.
But if you have, you children, how many? You and children need to go together. Otherwise, the sentence wouldn't be grammatical. You're saying you are a child. If you say have is deleted, then have should be able to be present. And then you delete it.
Renz has his hand up.
Bye-bye.
Boy, girl. What if we say boy, girl have how many?
Well, that's fine, but you told me that wasn't correct. No have in the sentence. So is that sentence correct?
So I think we have to have had then. Renz is
Well, no,
saying.
you don't have to have if you don't have it. Why do you have to have have?
Shaq is saying, okay, I guess we'll leave it at that then.
Well, no, the analysis is, do you have in that sentence or not?
No, Ray is saying no.
Okay, then it can't be deleted because you don't have it. Okay, what
Okay.
about the sentence, you family, how many? Is there a have in that sentence?
No.
Okay, and you can't say the have is there and it's deleted. So if you look at the patterns, you children, how many? You family, how many? Those have to be analyzed in the same way.
Meng has her hand up.
Yes.
So it really depends on the understanding. Like if you say you family, how many? So we understand that the point is the number, how many. But if we were to give it an English equivalent though, there's a verb present to it. And if we were to separate it for boys versus girls, like boys how many, girls how many, or boys have, girls have, I think affect it wouldn't affect the translation. So in those two cases, you can understand if you're signing them in both ways, with or without the have. It really depends on the deaf person that you're talking to. I mean, in terms of having like this, the verb in it,
So what
we
is the
have to.
verb? What is the verb?
Okay, so we have the subject and no object. Like you said, there's no verb. The verb has to be the object has to the verb is present, so you have an object. But you're saying now in this sentence, it's subject predicate. Okay, one moment.
Okay, so what is the predicate?
We're talking about the verb. The
Well,
verb
what is the verb then?
is for this sentence, sir. What's the verb?
Yeah, what's the verb in the sentence? In boys, girls, how many? What's the verb?
There is no verb.
Well, there has to be a
There's no
predicate
verb.
in every sentence. And the predicate doesn't have to be a verb. It can be a noun, it can be an adjective, it can be a verb. So that's why I asked you what the predicate was in the sentence, boys, girls, how many?
So there's no predicate.
No, can't be no predicate. This is what you learned in syntax. Always has to be a predicate.
But for the English, you have to have a predicate. Have,
You have to
right?
have a predicate in every sentence, in every language. The predicate in English is have, and the predicate in Filipino Sign Language is how many.
Okay, right. Okay.
Okay, so this is why we change the analysis.
So in the English translation, there has to have a have?
Yes. Well, I mean, for that sentence, no. You can say how many boys and how many girls. But if you say, for example, you children, how many? You have to say in English, how many children do you have? Now in English, you can say, how many boys do you have? But you can also, because you've already used have, you can shorten the sentence and how many, say just how many boys. But in English, boys, how many boys would be the object, you would be the subject, have would be the predicate. But you can't analyze Filipino Sign Language that way. Well, we can take some time and you can discuss this. Or you can discuss it before tomorrow, either way. And then we can come back and talk about it. But if there is a predicate, it's in this sentence, in most languages, if you have the verb have, that have is going to be a predicate. But if you don't have the verb have, then you're going to have to analyze it, the predicate in a different way. And this would be how many. So when you're thinking about FSL, don't look at the English translation.
Meng is asking Peebs if the English then is correct, if the English translation is correct then. Because then we have to change that.
Which English translation?
This one's example 10.
Yes, the English translation is correct.
Because Meng is saying, I guess we have to add have.
No, not in this sentence. If you want to add you, then in English you would have to have have. How many boys do you have? But in English we can say, how many children do you have? And the person says, 2. And then you can say, how many boys and how many girls? You don't need to add have in this sentence.
Sorry, can you say that again? Meng missed the last part.
Okay. If you say, how many children do you have? Now you've said the word have, right? How many children do you have? So you're relating it to children. How many boys and how many girls? If you've already mentioned have, you don't need to mention it again. But you can say, okay, how many children do you have? Two. I have two children. How many are boys and how many are girls? You can say that. But you can also shorten it to how many boys and how many girls.
Ren has his hand up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's clear, Dr. Woody, how you explained it. So we'll leave the English sentence there for now. But for this sentence, if we had have in this sentence, then that means we would have to have in the English translation.
Well, you would probably put have in the English translation. It would make it more clear following, showing the similarity. Okay. So in the English translations, I've tried to show the similarity. So for example, since you signed boys, girls, how many, then the closest English translation is how many boys and how many girls. You can translate it, how many boys do you have and how many girls do you have? Okay. So you don't have to translate it in exactly a close way between the two languages, but it helps second language learners if you can show them that it's similar to what they're using. But the real question you need to ask yourself is have normally in these sentences? And what you told me before is, no, we don't use have in these sentences. Remember the first example was how many people, in English translation was how many people in your family? But as Peeb says, you don't use the word people to talk about family members in Philippines. And then other people said, and yes, we don't use the word have here. We just say, We just say, you, family, how many? We don't use the word have. So going back to rent, would you normally use have in that sentence? And most deaf people normally use have in boys, girls, how many?
No, we don't use it. We don't use have.
Okay, yeah. So the question is, you can probably use it, but you're sounding more like English. Not really Filipino Sign Language. So this is why we're analyzing it this way.
Meng has her hand up.
Mm-hmm.
Because the NMS have is present
But
at times.
but yes,
Maybe that's part of the rule, though, is with the object and predicate, whenever we
yes,
have as an NMS, that's a predicate
right,
or not.
right, yes, yes. But do you have do you have the non-manual in this sentence?
No,
In this
Ray
sentence,
saying no.
yeah, Ray's saying no. So there's no have, either manual, non-manual, or both.
땀땀 나고 이렇게 따뜻한 가서도 느끼고 그리고 가자. 네. 너는 축구하고 싶어도 다리가 아파서 못할 거고
Sorry, can we have Marvin to turn off his?
겨울엔 덥고 마구잡이로 잘못된 신호를 받게 될 거야. 그건 신호가 없는 것보다 나를 더 힘들게 할 거야.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Ming, ask again.
So then, sir, my question is, if we get rid of the have, then it's just subject object.
No, it can't be that. It has to be a
It
predicate.
sorry. So then the object has to be a predicate.
Must have a P, every sentence.
But there's no subject object sentence.
No,
Okay, I understand now.
the object has to be the object of a predicate.
That's where I was confused.
Yeah.
I thought you could have a subject object sentence.
Well, you can if you delete a predicate.
Shaq has his hand up.
Yes.
So, Dr. Woody, I remembered we were having the same issues before with have and the predicate. And it can lead to a lot of misunderstanding because we're often not sure if it's a subject or a predicate at times. So, sorry, one moment. Subject, an object. So, subject, boy, girl, how many? Subject, boy, girl, object, how many? That's what was assumed before because in the past we associated how many to an object. So that's where the misunderstandings come from. So we were just relating it to what we learned prior.
Well, yes, but in all of those cases where you had subject and object, you had the predicate and it was deleted. So this is why we had before predicate have is deleted. Remember, we had that in these sentences.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. But now you're telling me more and more specifically that there never could be a have in those sentences. So therefore, how many cannot be an object because you have to have a predicate.
Okay.
So predicate, you have to discover what the predicate in the sentence is. So if you have the word, if you can put the word have in, a lot of languages will delete have. English doesn't, but a lot of sign languages delete have. But in this case, there is no verb have in the sentence. And there's no non-manual have in these sentences. So that means that there has to be a predicate. The only thing that can be a predicate is the how many. Another way to analyze this is to say, okay, I think that how many is an object. Okay, then my question to you is, what is the verb? And if you can't give me a verb, then how many cannot be an object because an object has to be attached to a verb. Okay, let's go back and review this example here. Let me, I'm going to do a chat here. Okay, do you remember this in the tree diagram? S goes down to noun phrase and verb phrase. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the first NP? Subject or
No.
object?
Shaq is saying pronoun.
Hmm?
Pronoun, Shaq is saying.
No, is the first NP. You see the sentence. Do you remember S becomes NP plus VP? Do you remember that?
Can the interpreter ask Shaq to bring down the screen for a minute? Sorry, confusion with freezing and bring down the screen. All right. Happy New Year. Okay, go ahead, sir.
So in the chat, I have written, do you remember S becomes NP plus VP? So you have S, then you have
Yes.
NP, and then you have VP. So
VWO.
what is the NP? A subject or an object?
Object.
No, it's a subject. And
NP.
then the next rule is VP becomes NP plus verb.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the second NP?
Peeves is saying object.
Yes. This object is connected to the verb directly. The subject is not connected to the verb. Again, so NP1 is the subject, NP2 is the verb. But NP2 cannot occur unless there is a verb or a predicate. So are you reviewing your syntax course?
Yeah, we said we left all our materials in the office, all our papers. So
Well,
we don't have any in the house. Yeah, and Meng is saying we should do this every day then, because I
Yeah.
totally forgot this
yeah.
stuff.
You haven't finished with syntax. We are doing syntax as we are doing this book. And another big problem is you just got finished with a vacation. So we haven't been doing this for a while.
Right.
Okay. Now, one thing you need to think about, you may not choose to do it. What is going to be your role when you finish this diploma? What are you going to do?
Sorry again, sir. What was the
One more
question?
time. Okay, right now you're studying in the diploma in sign language documentation. You are taking courses. So when you finish these courses, you will get a certificate. So when you finish the certificate, what are you going to do? What work are you going to do?
Teach sign language, and Meng saying review, Jasmine saying analysis, Ray
How are
saying
you going
teach.
to teach analysis if you're not reviewing?
Right.
You have to teach other students how to do this. You have to do book 2. Okay.
Rudy, I think I'm freezing. The camera is freezing.
Okay. I'll switch. I can see you.
Okay.
We'll just switch.
Okay, so you're going to be teaching other people how to do linguistic analysis. If you don't review, you may not teach people the right thing. So I know it's difficult now with COVID and the fact that you don't have your materials with you. But when you can get them safely, you do need to review.
Yes, sir.
No, this is not a criticism. I'm not saying, oh, you're bad people. But I'm just offering advice on how you can improve. Okay? So when you go back and you review syntax and you see S sentence becomes NP plus VP, and you see NP is the subject and VP is the predicate. Now, predicate may have an object or it may not. So if you say, I drink water, then you have an object. What are you drinking? You drink what? Water. But if I say, I ran home, okay? I is the subject, ran is the verb, But what is home? Is it an object or is it a location?
Location.
Location. So it's not an object. So this is subject, predicate, location. Okay. Yes, Chuck.
One moment. Let me just. Ah,
Yes.
I'm just putting up on the screen. These are the notes that I took.
Yes. Now go to your rule. Go to the left-hand corner. Okay, look at the rule. Rule 1. S becomes NP plus VP. NP1 plus VP. That is subject and predicate. Then NP rule 2. VP becomes optional NP2 plus verb. So there always has to be a verb. There doesn't have to be an object. Okay? Yes, so if you go back and review this, it will help you, I think. So each sentence that you do, you can go through these rules and say, is this a correct interpretation?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, okay. So when you go through and you see the sentence, you family, how many? So what is the NP1?
It's the verb.
No, what NP1, noun phrase 1, the subject.
Family.
Is the what?
Is you.
Yes,
Rance is saying
subject.
you.
Yeah, you family, the subject.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you have how many? If you have it. What is have? If you have.
Verb.
Verb.
VP.
VP. And have how many is a VP. And have is the predicate, VP, verb, and how many is the object, the noun. Okay. But if you don't ever have in that sentence, you never have. So you family, how many? Okay, you family is a subject to NP. The VP is how many? Okay, so this is why I say you have to have an object. I mean, sorry, you must have a verb, but you don't have to have an object. Okay, and if you have subject-object sentence, that has to come from subject, verb, object, or subject, object, verb. You have to have a verb in the underlying structure, and then that verb is deleted. Okay? But if you don't have any verb in the underlying structure, then the predicate has to be what's left, and that is how many. Okay. So by now your brains are probably running overtime going, oh, I'm confused. So let's take a break for 15 minutes and give the interpreters a break also, because this is highly technical. And then we'll come back at let's say 2:20, because it's almost 2:05 now. Oh, 3:05 your time. Come back at 3:20 your time. Okay? All right. So we get back. What's the subject? Or how do you sign it? Ember interpreter, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So what is the subject?
Ember.
Ember. And what is the predicate?
Interpreter.
Interpreter. Is interpreter a verb?
No.
No, it's a noun.
Predicate.
Yeah. But when we look at Ember is an interpreter in English, is what? A verb or a noun?
Verb.
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 So, yeah. So the important thing is that both sentences have predicates. Okay. But the predicates are different. In English, it's a verb. And in FSL, it is, in this sentence, a noun. The predicate is a noun. Okay. So when you're doing your analysis, you have to remember every sentence must have a predicate. But not every sentence must have an object. It may have an object, it may not, but it always has to have predicate. Okay. Now, if you can find a predicate that is deleted, like in some cases have in some sign languages is actually deleted, then you can have subject, object, and the predicate is deleted. Okay? But if you don't have another predicate, like you cannot insert have in the sentence, then whatever you think may be an object is in fact a predicate. Okay? So in this sentence, you family, how many? You never have in the sentence. Don't use it. Therefore, how many in this sentence has to be a predicate. Okay? So anyway, this will come up probably again and again. So let's go on now to shock the next sentence. if you can. I think this will be sentence 11. Frozen. Okay, number 11. So here we have to say boys is subject, two is predicate, girls is subject, three is predicate. So between boys and two, there should be a line. And between girls and three, there should be a line. And then I think between the two sentences, boys two, after two, then you should have a thick line between two and girls. Let me see 11B before we do this. Okay, that's fine. Yes, good. And then with that sentence 11A, you should have boys should be subject, and 2 should be predicate. Girls should be subject, and 3 should be predicate. And then with the noun and number, noun should be encircled with brackets. So add a bracket after N. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. And then the next one, 11B, same structure. And then delete the parentheses, subject I and predicate have are deleted. Great. Okay. And then delete subject I and predicate have are deleted. Okay, great. Okay, number 12. Okay, father, mother, okay.
This is Jasmine.
Okay.
Father, mother,
Mother,
son,
brother, sorry, son. Daughter,
and daughter. Yes.
yes. Okay,
So to call, to address
yes.
me as, call me, yeah.
What's the third example?
So it's the same sign, just different angles
Okay,
to call.
so
So the other one is, so the first 2 is directional outward, and the last one is inward.
inward. So so if we wanted to say,
So this is Shaq. Uh, Yes, it's directional. So the first one is going outward, second one same.
So does that mean, okay, the first one, does it mean I call him brother or he calls me brother? So I call him?
Sorry, the interpreter is confused.
Okay, use an example with the first column. Ask Jacques to use an example with the first column. With two nouns or two pronouns.
So So Peebs, I'm talking to Peebs. So Peebs calls me Jacques.
Okay, so that's fine. Okay. And then the next one, the second column.
So the second one, so with Peebs and Jacques, right? So there's a third person.
Okay.
So
All right.
Jasmine calls me, yeah.
Okay.
And then the last one, Jasmine has it. So in this example, so I have Kyla with me. I call Kyla my sister. So that's the first one. So there's me, Kyla, and Meng. So she calls Meng mother. So she calls Meng mother. So there's a third
Okay.
person involved.
Okay.
I call Kyla sister since it's just two people.
Okay. All right. So I call Kyla sister. Which one? 1, 2, or 3?
Okay, first one.
I call, right?
The first one. I call her sister.
Okay. All right. So then the English translation is not quite correct. Sorry, Jacques, can you change the English translation in number 1? I address someone as. So let me write it in the chat. Okay, can you see the English? So okay. And then column 2, is that I call someone also, but a third person? Okay, I think the first one maybe is I call you. It goes directly out. And the second one goes to the side. Okay, let me change this again.
Ray has his hand up.
Yes. Yes, Ray, go ahead.
Okay, for example, so there are 3 people involved. So I'm calling you, Peebs. I address you, that's first one. I call you. And then the second one is the third person is involved, that's Jasmine. So Peebs calls her. So it's
Okay.
they address them as, they address them as, something like that.
Yeah.
And then because it's, you know, the direction of the second person and the third person, so it's not me involved, they address them.
Okay. Okay, so Ray, let me try to clarify. The first one is Ray calls the person you were talking with, right? So Ray calls you. I'm sorry. Ray is the subject, calls the second person, you. Or is it Ray calls him?
So
Maybe it's too confusing because everybody switches pronouns when we talk. So let's go on to the actual examples of sentences, and let's see if we can figure it out that way. Okay, so Jacques, let's go down. Okay. Okay, so for youngest, is it young or youngest? Okay. And then slash, slash, slash. Okay. All right. Good. Let's look at the next signs. Okay. 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 Should be third in the list of 5, for instead of 3, should be third. Good. Okay.
Shaq has his hand up.
Yes. Uh-huh.
In lesson 2, I believe I also made the same mistake, so I'll fix that.
Okay. Okay.
List
I'm
of
sorry I
3.
didn't catch it before. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Fourth should be TH, fourth, FOURTH. And then fifth, FIFTH.
One moment, sir.
No problem. You are. Yes.
Sorry, my computer was freezing up.
Okay. Yes, okay. Okay, now, okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's go back up to the example at the top, the vocabulary.
Sorry, not the very top.
Sorry, the second vocabulary. The verbs. Okay. So this is the third one, right? The sign that we just saw is the third one, right? Go down. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back and change the third column to you call someone. You address someone as. Okay. All right. Okay, I suggest we stop for today and we come back tomorrow and start with what example we on this. You call him whatever it was, the last example. So we'll start with the second grammatical structure. Okay? And we'll finish up lesson 6. And then we'll go to lesson 1. And if we finish lesson 1, we go on to lesson 7. But I don't think we will finish tomorrow. So lesson 6, lesson 1, and then lesson 7. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, we haven't started lesson 7, right?
Okay. All right. So good to see you all again. Hope your new year is going well.
Can we take a picture, sir? Just a quick picture.
Sure.